Okay, so could you please just start off by introducing yourself?
My name is David Gartrell, and this is my 41st year as a professional basketball coach.
Okay, so how do you think you've changed in the last 5 years?
I've gotten softer, I'm quieter, I've stopped coaching competitively, I'm taken to teaching basketball, and a little quieter and a lot more technically sound. So, I mean, as you get older, you slow down and you see things for what they're worth.
Do you think you have the qualities and skills necessary to succeed in your career?
I am. Yes, I do. I'm pretty much in the middle of my career, kind of apexed, and yes, I have the qualities that it takes to be a basketball coach.
How has the game impacted your physical, mental, and emotional health?
I'm in better shape than all 59-year-old guys in my group. All the guys got beer bellies and stuff. I'm out here running with the kids. I got a smile on my face. I go to bed happy every day. Basketball is my world. I love it.
What have been your greatest experiences?
Oh, I got to travel the world. I'm going back to Barcelona in a few weeks. I've been to Barcelona, Haiti, all over the world doing basketball and meeting people, and that's what it's all about, having fun.
How have you contributed to our community through basketball?
I sponsor teams. We sponsor kids at camp. We give back. Our coaches at Big City Basketball actually participate in monthly food drives for the homeless in Titusville, Florida. We serve dinner for the homeless once a month.
What was the most stressful situation you have ever faced?
City College basketball, Division III, the Beavers, and some learning challenged players. Let's just put it like that. Sometimes you get a tough team.
How do you see your job relating to your overall goals?
Well, I want to be happy. I want everybody to be happy around me. I want to smile. I want to stay in shape. I want to have fun when I'm working. And I really don't want to wear long pants, so it's working out pretty well.
Okay, so what do you think your key strengths are?
Well, the ability to smile and teach, relate with the kids. I have a very youthful attitude.
How and what has the game helped you develop?
My social skills and my ball handling. I wasn't a very good player. So coaching basketball and teaching all the kids around me how to play has made me a better player and a great teammate.
How has it affected you as a person?
I'm much more tolerant of people that can't play. Everybody's not a basketball player, so I've learned that over the last 10 years, but everybody can have fun playing basketball, and that's important to me, that you have fun while you're playing. It really is.
How will you be a role model for the players you coach?
Oh, if I can leave them with a smile and one or two tidbits of information and stay in touch. I like to stay in touch with some of my favorite players, and they stay in touch with me, and just as long as they remember me when it's time to run, and they run hard and they play hard, that's the legacy.
What is the most effective way to teach basketball?
In sound bites, quick, small pieces of information, just like this.
Do you think the promise of big money and celebrity is ruining basketball as a game?
Absolutely. We got kids in this gym right now dressed like they can play, and they're spending hundreds of dollars on gear. They can't play. They need to learn how to play. My sneakers cost $25, and they work just as well as those new KDs and all that stuff. My children don't wear sneakers that cost more than $50 until they make the team.
What is the most important lesson you have learned in all your years of coaching basketball?
It's a game. It's a game. We're going to play again tomorrow. It's a game. Have fun. It's a game.
Why do you coach basketball, and how long have you been coaching for?
It's my 41st season, and I coach basketball because I'm good at it. I'm an excellent football player, but I can't coach it. So those who can do, and those who can't coach. And I can't really play, so I coach.
Any regrets about being a coach?
Didn't start soon enough. Should have probably concentrated more on it when I was early in my career, and probably would have made it all the way to an NBA bench as opposed to an NBA sideline.
What do you look for in a kid when recruiting them for your team?
Character. Are you a good guy? What happens during a timeout? If you miss a shot, do you slap the cup out of the manager's hand? Do you whip the towel? Do you pull your shirt over your head? Those things you're out. Are you smiling? Are you helping teammates? Having a good time after a loss? I can understand you get a little mad, and then let's get over it. Can't take people with big egos and big attitudes. That doesn't work on a basketball team.
And lastly, how do you think basketball can become a more global sport?
Well, it's becoming that. We're spreading out. The talent is spreading out around the world. Have an opportunity this year probably to go to China and see some of the Chinese players, and I think it'll get better when everybody plays defense, not just the USA.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so could you please start off by introducing yourself?
Darren Redmond.
Okay, so how have you changed in the last 5 years?
With regards to
Coaching.
and more particularly coaching basketball,
Yeah.
I would say that the last 5 years have allowed me to use technology a little bit more, have allowed me to adjust to preparation plans and game management.
Okay. Do you think you have the qualities and skills necessary to succeed as a coach?
I've been successful, so I guess you could say, yes, I have the qualities.
How has the game impacted your physical, mental, and emotional health?
Basketball is different from many coaching activities, coaching sports, because you really have an opportunity on the fly to adjust. So not only are you preparing players to be at their best before a game begins, you have a great deal to do during the game and even making adjustments at halftime and working with your student athletes. So from a mental point of view, there's a great deal going on that you have to stay on top of, which also means you have to be physically fit. It's important to be physically fit, not just to role model that which you hope your student athletes will do, but you also have to stay within your comfort zone so you don't wash out any earlier than you normally would through age. Emotionally speaking, I've never, while I certainly am a loud coach, I wouldn't necessarily say my emotions are any different now than they would have been years ago with regards to how I coach on the sidelines.
Okay. What have been your greatest experiences?
Most coaches would probably say that you have certain teams or even certain games where things seem to come together, overcoming great odds. So it would be fair to say that those memories that I have are, yes, high achieving moments, the winning of championships, but oftentimes, even as recently as this year, overcoming great odds with having only 7 basketball players and trying to compete in a tournament and ending 2 of 3 games with only 4 players on the court. So if you can remember those moments of great odds, they tend to be pretty special.
Okay. How have you contributed to your community through basketball?
Like any sport, basketball tends to be an opportunity where students learn using just a different medium. So I would say that if you can have athletics, and in this case basketball, you have an opportunity to teach not just the skill of playing the game, but also how to play sport, and playing sport with rules and morals. I think there are important opportunities for students to see the game as a metaphor for life.
What was the most stressful situation you've ever faced?
When coaching basketball, I would say that taking a look at great odds and trying to overcome them, knowing that sometimes you're not going to be able to overcome them, they're going to happen against you, and yet how can you salvage something from the experience so it's not a total loss? So whether it's through injury, whether it's through illness, whether it's through a situation that is not within your control, how can you still stay above it all and be able to respond appropriately and get something out of it in a positive way?
How do you see coaching relating to your overall goals?
I'm assuming by overall goals you mean goals as a person, goals as a professional,
Yeah.
be it as a coach or any place else. Athletics are great. That is to say, it's the physical part of learning. So while I would say I'm an English teacher, I'm also an English coach. I learn how to break down a student's skills to the point where he can achieve or she can achieve in the English classroom just as often as I would on the athletic field or on the basketball court. So those are things that you learn. It's helpful in both ways.
What do you believe your key strengths are?
I'm a pretty emotional person. That is to say, I, having been an athlete myself and also care a great deal about the outcome of a certain thing, I oftentimes display the same passion as a coach as I would hope my players would as they are on the court. So understanding the athlete, being able to think a couple of steps ahead for him or for her, I'm quite proud of the fact that I can show that same passion at the same time they do.
What does the game help you develop?
You have to be organized. You have to prepare yourself well for the event, and then you have to have the ability to make changes if necessary. So again, as an example, when you're down players and you have to make adjustments on the fly and you're asking someone to take on a responsibility that he or she hasn't practiced, you really have to give them something to work with, and that's an important skill, adjustment for life, let alone on the basketball court.
Okay, how has basketball affected you as a person?
Basketball as a sport is time consuming. So while I no longer play, I coach, and for me to be able to coach still takes time, still takes discipline, still takes the need to contribute in a meaningful way. So I think that it's fair to say that I develop differently, not always the same physically, but differently in terms of participating.
Okay. What advice would you give to young basketball players?
I see two types of basketball players. One type would be they do nothing but basketball 24/7. So that kind of student athlete needs to do other things besides basketball to develop his or her motor skills, and you got to get out of the gym as opposed to staying in the gym and that's all that you do. And through repetition, you actually tear down your body, which is not a very helpful thing. Conversely, there are some students for whom basketball is a hobby, and they pick it up once or twice a week and they expect to play well, and that's just an unreasonable goal. So for them, they need to get in the gym and they need to actually work on their bodies, they need to work on their skills with or without the basketball and to make themselves better players.
How will you be a role model for the players you coach?
Honesty is a pretty important thing, so if you were to ask me to be somewhere, I'm going to be there and probably early. If I'm committed to a group, I'll stay committed to that group until whatever the end outcome is. Hopefully that's a skill or that's a role model that student athletes will pick up as well.
What is the most effective way to teach basketball?
To have a love for the game is a start. So any child picking up a ball and trying to play and have some fun is a good place to start. And then skill progression is important. Regardless of one's size or one's speed, agility, all those things can be worked upon. But you got to start with having some fun and have the opportunity then to teach the progression of skills both as an individual player but also as a team. And that takes a lot of time.
Okay. Do you think that the promise of big money and celebrity is ruining basketball?
Only if you take it seriously. That is to say, very few people would have the opportunity, regardless of the sport, let alone basketball, to actually earn a living playing it. So it's just unrealistic. Why would you put that kind of concept in your brain? Oh, that's right, you watch basketball on television and you see other people doing it, so if they can, why can't I? It's not realistic. However, some student athletes will have the opportunity to use their love and skill of a particular sport to get them into a college or get them into a situation where they can improve their education. That's something that's somewhat realistic, or more realistic than being a professional. But the most important thing is to go out there and have fun, and more importantly have a relationship with others who like the same game you do. And that's a memory worth having.
Where do you see your players in 10 or 20 years?
I hope they're good human beings. I hope that this has happened with great frequency, and thank goodness for social media and Facebook being part of it. I have more fond memories with former players who continue to come back, invite me to their games, invite me to their weddings, invite me to their occasions where we would meet as a group even, if not individually. The idea that we can look back upon those moments as a team, and yet, gosh, that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, depending on how you look at it. And they're great human beings. And whatever we might have worked on the basketball court might have had something to do with the kind of person that they've developed to be.
Why do you coach basketball, and how long have you been coaching for?
I've probably been coaching over 30 years, and I would say that basketball, among other things, I've been coaching for at least that long. Again, basketball is one of those sports where you as a coach can actively participate during the game, as opposed to football, for example, where you prepare your athletes, you sort of set up matchups, but really the players are the ones that are doing much of the work on the floor. You can't really do a whole heck of a lot on the pitch to be able to say, you go here, you do that. It's too much of a fluid game. Whereas in basketball, you can change defenses, you can call offenses, you can make plays, you can call timeouts. I tried calling a timeout once in football, and I think the referee laughed at me. Having said that, basketball is one of those games where it's in a small place, and you have a little bit more to do during the course of the game as well as preparation.
Okay. And lastly, what is the most important lesson you have learned in all your years as a basketball coach?
Strange things happen in that game. Strange things happen that you don't expect, so that you can't always decide what the outcome of a game is going to be before the game is played. So I've certainly had games where I've been thinking that we were the overwhelming favorite and we barely won, or if we won. I've been in situations where we've been the underdog and there's no way we have any reason to believe that we could win a game, and yet the outcome turned in our favor. So in any sport, but particularly basketball, the unity of a group working together can oftentimes take the odds and throw them out the window, and you can actually can do some very nice things.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Edmond. Okay, so could you please start off by introducing yourself?
My name is Hector Andrade, and I'm 46 years old. I've been playing basketball for the last 35 years. I started when I was pretty young, and I've continued playing all along.
Okay, how would you say you've changed in the last 5 years?
I think the last 5 years I've only grown older, so the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Okay, yeah, the aches and pains have multiplied over the last 5 years, yeah.
Do you think you have, or you had, the qualities and skills necessary to succeed as a basketball player?
I think, yeah, I was naturally gifted, okay, because I was good at athletics. I did sports since I was a baby, I guess. And because of my height, I could succeed in basketball. Yeah, I think I had the skills necessary.
How has the game impacted your physical, mental, and emotional health?
I think it's kept me fit for a very, very long time. Basketball is a game that almost exercises every part of your body. Okay, and because you have to be thinking as well, it's a mind game as well. So I think it has helped the overall development of me as a person, and it has helped me stay fit all along. Yeah.
What have been your greatest experiences?
Oh, there have been many, many memorable experiences. One of the greatest ones was when I was selected to be the honorary captain of a professional team when I was in the 8th grade, and that was one of the high points. And there are many more on the field, especially. And there was a particular game which was very memorable where we were down by 8 points in the last 3 minutes, and I managed to score 3 3-pointers, and we won the game by 1 minute. So that was one of the high points of my career.
How do you think you've contributed to our community through basketball?
I have tried to encourage as many young people as possible to take up the sport. So all along I've coached basketball teams, no matter where I've been. I have coached college teams, school teams, and I've always been on the field because I believe that basketball is a great game, and I want as many people as possible to take to the sport and be lifelong sports persons.
What do you think the most stressful situation you have ever faced?
I think the most stressful situations have been in the match where you have to, try and win every game. And so the games that are really, really tight, those are the games that have been stressful. Okay, and I think those stressful moments, of course, bring out your real character and bring out the best in you.
How do you see being a basketball player relating to your overall goals?
I think basketball is a game that develops character, and my overall goals in life have to be I want to be a good human being and a team player, and that's where basketball has come in very, very strongly to help build my character as well as to help me be a team player, and being a team player helps you in all walks of life.
What do you believe are your key strengths?
My key strengths on the court while playing have been my ability to know where my other team members are without looking at them. So when I play on a team and when I practice with the team, I don't have to use my eyes. I believe I have almost a sixth sense with which I can know where each and every teammate of mine is without having to look towards them.
What do you think the game has helped you develop?
I think I'll be repeating myself here. I said it has helped me develop into a team player, and that's been the most important contribution. And besides that, what I mentioned at the start, the overall fitness that I see myself, okay, even at this age, I can step onto the court and give 16, 17-year-olds like you a run for their money.
What advice would you give to young basketball players?
I would want young basketball players to develop into all-round team players. That would be my advice. That basketball is a team game, and it's important to learn all-round skills, not only your dribbling and shooting skills, but also your passing skills. And in my life, I've got more pleasure out of one wonderful pass that I gave compared to 10 baskets that I scored.
How long have you spent practicing the sport?
Yes, a lot of hard work has gone in. I remember taking to basketball in the 2nd grade. I started playing when I was probably a 7, 8-year-old little kid, and I used to spend almost 2 or 3 hours every day on the court and longer on the weekends. I was also fortunate to be coached by coaches from a US state team who came over to my city, and they coached us over 3 summers, and that was very intensive. It was starting practice at around 6 in the morning and ending at 5 in the evening with a break for a swim in the middle. So a lot of intense hard work has gone in to make me the player that I am today.
Has fame and fortune ever affected any of the basketball players you knew?
It has, and one has to learn always to keep your head on your shoulders and not allow fame to get to you. A lot of players do end up ruining their careers when they get fame and fortune. Unfortunately, basketball in India hasn't been something that gives you fortune. It does give you fame, and especially if you're playing for your college team and all, you get a lot of fan following. So yeah, I mean, you have to learn to keep your head on your shoulders, I think, yeah.
How do you plan to stay ahead and prepared for any games that you might have to play?
I think as the years go by, I need to stay fit. I think that is my main goal, and I know that if I can stay fit, I will be able to play and practice and be ready to play every game that comes my way.
What do you think is the most important lesson that you've ever learned in all your years of being a basketball player?
That's a tough one. Most important lesson. I think the most important lesson has been to stay humble and not not to put down any other player, especially a beginner, because you can play so well. Okay, but to stay humble and to keep encouraging people to be the best players they can.
Do you have any regrets at all about being a basketball player?
No regrets. In fact, I'm really happy that I chanced upon basketball. I was born next to a basketball court, and I think that has been the most amazing gift of my life and good fortune. So I don't think there have been any regrets. Along the way, of course, I have had to focus more on academics, and so I couldn't go on to play probably for the country, which I could have. I had to make choices, and because basketball was not such a big thing in India as when I was growing up, I had to compromise, okay, and focus more on my academics rather than on basketball. And maybe there are some regrets there, but I think I'm happy for where I am today and the role that basketball plays in my life.
And lastly, how do you think basketball can become a more global sport?
Yeah, I think more and more young people who know to play the game should take time out to train other people. I have always believed in all-round development, and that means you do well at your academics, you do well at your sport, and you also focus on community service. And that's where I think we can, young people like you, can make a difference. You can take up basketball training like you did in your project. I think more young people need to select a group of people, and start practicing, start training them, and develop in them a love for the sport. I think that's something we can really do to make the sport more global.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mr. Hector.
You're welcome. Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay, so could you please start off by introducing yourself?
My name is Matt Piper. I am a teacher at MBIS, and I'm from Wisconsin in the United States, and I'm 48 years old.
Okay, so how do you think basketball has changed you in the past 5 years?
The past 5 years, basketball has allowed me to stay somewhat fit so that I can interact with students. I really enjoy getting to know them, and basketball is one of the ways I do that. So in the last 5 years, it has allowed me to stay in the loop, per se, with students.
Okay, do you think you have the qualities and skills necessary to be a good basketball player?
I do now. Growing up, I didn't have any coordination, I didn't have any speed. I was overweight most of my life. We didn't have basketballs, we didn't have a basketball hoop or anything. But I've developed skills through hard work because I enjoyed the game. But now I have the skills. I didn't start out with the skills.
How do you think the game has impacted your physical, mental, and emotional health?
Well, mentally, emotionally, physically, they're all kind of tied together, because the more that you participate, the more you have a sound mind and you have clear thoughts, and it allows you to be more productive.
Okay, what do you think your greatest experiences have been?
My greatest experiences have always been around playing basketball or sports with my brother. He was a year older than I was, and in baseball, he was a pitcher, I was a catcher. In basketball, he was a power forward, I was a 2-guard or a 3-guard, and we played together. Our intramural sports team in college was probably the highlight of all of my basketball career, because we took a team of hardworking, less talented people, and we won the title in a team against a team that was very talented and very athletic.
How do you think you've contributed to our community through basketball?
I think that it's important that students, children, parents see the staff involved in their children's lives other than just in the school. To know that they're real human beings, and that they like the community. They want to be a part of the community, and that's how I think basketball has helped that.
What was the most stressful situation you've ever faced?
My first game in college, I got a technical foul because I was being hammered all the time, and I took the basketball and threw it probably 20 feet into the basket, hit the backboard, and it flew across the gym. And I got technical and I got thrown out of the game. That was a stressful situation. I've grown out of that since then.
How do you see being a basketball player relating to your overall goals?
Basketball teaches you to overcome and to be persistent and to continue to work hard. If you are motivated by competition, you always want to get better so that you can play with people that are better than you, and it's a motivator.
What do you believe your key strengths are on the court?
Hustle, thinking skills, I know where everyone is on the court, being able to make a crisp pass to them when people aren't expecting it, and just overall outthinking the other team.
What has the game helped you develop most?
Sense of satisfaction that hard work does pay off, that I would think I'm a pretty good basketball player now. It took 48 years. But seriously, it's helped me know that hard work pays off.
What advice would you give to young basketball players?
That basketball is a sport that you can play with any level of skill, and you can achieve any level of skill if you want it. It'll take work and motivation and time, but if you're patient and you continue with it, you can become a very good basketball player.
How long have you spent practicing the sport?
I think I started the first time that I actually had access to a basketball court and basketballs at the same time, where I had time to play, was probably when I was 12. I didn't really get to play organized basketball until I got into high school. My parents couldn't afford to drive us to basketball like all the other students in our class. My classmates were playing since second grade, so that was kind of difficult to overcome. So I guess that's the biggest thing. I don't know what was the question. I'm sorry.
How long have you spent practicing the sport?
Oh, since I've been 12.
Has fame and fortune ever affected any players you played with?
At every level, there's someone who thinks they're all that. And several years after I see them, they happen to be in a situation that's challenging, that they can't overcome because they were always good at everything and they didn't need to work hard. Fame and fortune has affected a lot of people thinking they're all that. So don't ever think that you're all that. Always work towards something that's higher, better, faster, for your own satisfaction.
How do you plan to stay ahead and prepared for any games you may play anytime soon?
Well, I will begin lifting weights more consistently. I lifted weights when I was back home over vacation, but I think it's important to stay fit so that when the opportunity does come, I can play.
Okay, what was the most important lesson you have learned in all your years as a basketball player?
That you can do well with inferior skills if you work hard.
Do you have any regrets at all about being a basketball player?
No, I wish I could change my height, but other than that, I'm fairly happy with the opportunities that basketball has brought my way.
And lastly, how do you think basketball can become a more global sport?
I believe it can become more of a global sport in a similar manner that our school is trying to recruit teachers and staff that have experience playing basketball, coaching basketball, being part of basketball teams to share their expertise.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Matt.
Thank you.